What is going on, you guys? My name is Rayge, and we are back today with a quick overview video in regards to the conclusion of Black Cat's event, but as well the rewards actually being rewarded out today. So I mean, that was really big in terms of seeing both the shard payout and as well where folks kind of landed in terms of the red stars, guys. So a lot of big lessons to be learned, but I mean, a lot of this information we can actually take forward now into the next legendary event, especially now knowing that new Avengers are the next viable team potentially for the future unlock here. So guys, having said that, I mean, this was huge. As a free-to-play player, it was awesome just knowing what we can min and maximize in terms of gear, especially how high to bring up the Nova team. But to land with a 6 yellow and 4 red on Black Cat was way beyond my expectations. To be honest, this was a much better event than the Nova Trials, but also I felt like the Nova team just really held their own, and their synergies kind of spoke for themselves. Having this team really made it or broke it for your actual run progress. So what can we learn from everything we've done versus the original Nova Trials? On top of that, what can we bring forward in terms of our understanding to better prepare ourselves? So having said that, I think the best way to illustrate the usage and my success was honestly showing you the team that got it done. So overall, when I did complete the event, my team was relatively around 780,000 in total team power, but we were actually able to fully clear all of difficulty 8 with all the packs activated. So it was just promising to know that this can work. You don't need to overinvest in characters that you potentially don't need later on, especially knowing that, this team is a great war team, but I mean, outside of that, they're not really great anywhere else. I mean, a couple of these characters can be standout Dark Dimension 6 viable characters, but at the end of the day, that would have been the only reason to bring them up that high if you were interested. But it's awesome to see that out of all these characters, the highest was Nova, and for sure I was planning to bring Nova into Dark Dimension 6 later on, but the reason I didn't bring him into 17, 18 or higher is because I needed the bio gear, and I was also pretty strapped, as I brought up recently, my global characters. So I mean, it was nice to know that gear tier level 16, level 86, this Nova got the job done. And look, I didn't do great on the previous trials for his event as I was on vacation, but even with him at 5 stars, we were able to actually capitalize on how successful this Black Cat event run was. So honestly, it's great points for learning for this time around, that overall having a more well-rounded team is possibly the answer for these events going forward. So next up, Thor Infinity War, very similar to Nova's upbringing here. Level 85, gear tier 16. He was definitely the second most important character right after Nova, but the most important in terms of if you didn't have Nova on your team, right? But definitely the combination of these two. We also brought up Star-Lord Annihilation, level 85, gear tier 16, and that was it, guys. Cosmo, gear tier 15, level 80, in addition to Korg, gear tier 14, level 75. I mean, I think we can follow probably a similar template in the next event, knowing, we have to bring up a couple of the stronger and more important members of the team, in this case for our new Avengers, and then obviously not needing to maximize some of the characters that are less important, like Cosmo and Korg. It's great to know that we didn't have to overinvest and we can actually balance the gear investment, the gold. In contrast, right, let's take a look at how I did for Masters of Evo now. It was 2 different approaches, and funny enough, both these teams are actually pretty close in team power. I think this one's a little higher just because I juiced up my Kang, but as I showed you earlier with my Nova, he didn't even hit 6 yellow stars after 2 trial runs of him. Mind you, there were some errors in the original run, but like I said, I was on vacation, almost completely missing the first event, so I just basically got the bare minimum. I think I had 3 yellow stars, or whichever was released for us, and that's all I cared about because I was away. But I mean, first and foremost, there's a big contrast between this team and the Nowhere, in the sense that if you take a look, the second best character is Ultron, and he's only as high as gear tier 15. Moonstone, level 80, gear tier 15, and then it goes downhill. This is pretty consistent what we saw with Korg. Zorbyman, gear tier 14, level 75. Into Tanya, gear tier 14 at level 75. But the difference maker here that honestly was able to allow me to push through and complete all the milestones for Nova's trials was really the gear tier 18 and maximizing every little upgrade on Kang, as well as bringing him up to that coveted level 95. Also, because I actually utilized him in Dark Dimension 6, it worked out perfectly. But at the end of the day, I think I think if we're able to compare both these events now, having the more well-rounded roster really makes sense. I mean, just a couple of them, even gear tier 16, we were able to get the job done. And like I said, they're both similar in team powers, but two different situations. I'm glad I was able to go from one contrast to the other, so that way we can get some meaningful information. But overall, team synergy matters at the end of the day. You can't have one character powering through and making sure that, you know, they can basically carry the rest of the team. Mind you, the other difference maker is the fact that the Nowhere team, having all their war buffs activated, just made them a very, very strong team. I mean, although they were, you know, a lot lower than my other gear tier 17 characters that were involved, this team operated more like a 1.2 million team. You know, like they were operating 50% better because of the war buffs, and we're gonna see that. We're gonna see that exactly for the new Avengers as well. But what I also love about the fact that if you guys have brought up your Nowhere team, keep in mind in the next legendary event, whichever that may be for the new Avengers, they're also a war-based team, which means we likely will see a very, very similar pack setting where we can activate those buffs for war characters, right? Because we know that with the new Avengers, they're also a fellow war team, originally for defense, but huge shout out to Scopely for actually revising them and actually making sure that these guys are going to have benefits as well on offense in addition to defense. So I think similar story. Mockingbird, Ronin are probably going to be two of the strongest for my team, in addition to Tigra. I think the Thing and Coulson are definitely going to get less love, but I think they're all really important because they all kind of do their own little... you know, they're all a key and some sort of strength that they build to the team, and they're pretty offensively based as well. So we're probably going to need a combination of them. It will be interesting to see what the second team's going to be. But like I said, the fact that these folks are also, you know, benefiting off of the war buff and they have that revision now with the war offense, I think that's huge, guys. But again, let me show you now, before this disappears, so for our records, of course, and obviously capturing in this recording, that 770,000 team, right, was able to get me into the, I believe, around the 3,000 mark. So again, all packs activated, we were able to land a pretty beneficial 1.6 million here. And again, at the end of the day, guys, this is not... you know, the best score or the top 1,000 by any means, but that's not what I'm all about. I'm about getting value. I'm about making the most of what you have. And the best thing about this was we got a 6 yellow, 4 red black cat. Almost like, you know what I mean? Like the next trial event's going to be guaranteed 7 yellow for us. And we did that with a team that was less than 1 million in total combat power. That for me is the real story here, guys, that we do not need to overinvest, right? Same thing with the new Avengers. We're gonna be cautious, obviously building some characters, and especially if you feel like there's gonna be some value from Dark Dimension 6, I think those are the ones that are gonna be smart to go ahead with. But at the end of the day, we do not need to be over investing in characters for these events, because you can see how successful you can be with a pretty lean team, and you're still balancing that gear and gold investing, and at the end of the day, we're still capitalizing on some of these newer characters that are coming to the game. So I hope this helps you guys. I hope this is good feedback. Again, I'm free to play, so this hopefully gives you a reference in terms of knowing that we don't need to be doing difficulty 9, all packs activated, difficulty 10, all packs activated. You can get by with difficulty 8 just fine and be rewarded handsomely by doing so. So I'll keep you guys up to date, and again, for the next Black Cat Trials event, we have videos made already, so make sure you guys check out my channel, subscribe if you're waiting for the next unlock for the Legendary. I'll keep you guys up to date. Thank you as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.